Today on the shows, the guys will discuss their favorite villains in comics, movies, and video games. And later in scenarios, they decide who has the best plan for a zombie outbreak. So sit back and enjoy to Hold On to Your Butts.
Hold on to your butt.
Boom. Boom. No, I have. I've seen that. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hold On to Your Butts, episode number 6.
Woo!
Didn't have anywhere to go after that level of excitement, but we're happy you joined us here. We've got a couple good things to talk about here tonight. Tonight, I am joined by my very good friends, Blev and Wyatt. And if you listened to the show last week, you know that Buddy is going to become a series regular, or as often as he is able to be our fact checker. Buddy, say hi to the studio audience.
Hey, everyone. Do you think Buddy's going to start
and
asking
that
for
studio
money?
audience is full of one tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick in the house. Nick, say hi. Then Nick says, what's up? All right, there we go. And we're off and running. Okay, guys, let's just get right into it. Tonight's show is going to be all about villains. We're talking about the most badass, nasty villains in the DC, Marvel universe, video game universe, whatever. The show's all about villains.
Nasty.
Before we get into that, though, I want to talk a little bit about what we're playing. What have you guys been doing, and what games are you guys rocking right now? Now, Blev, I know you were downloading Wildlands the other day. Have you had a chance to play that?
I have, and it's a pretty good game. You know,
Tell us about it.
I guess so. Wildlands. I don't know if you guys know what that is or anything like that, but it's a Tom Clancy game, and it's a third-person shooter, and it's a team-based strategy game. So basically, you just go around and you're trying to loot and collect items around an area, a large-scale map, open world,
Which is different than the
sandbox.
previous games. Usually the ones...
It reminds me of like Just Cause and...
Is this Ghost Recon? What is it?
No, it's not. It's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yeah,
So-
which is different because they've always been
Yeah.
level-based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
So it's still sort of like level-based, but it's open world.
Yeah.
Is
You
it,
still have side missions. It's basically like GTA. It reminds me of GTA a lot.
is it you play online with friends, right? Yeah, you play online with like, people
So
and stuff,
basically,
co-op?
what happens is, if you're by yourself, you have an AI team, and then if one person joins, you lose all your AI team.
Oh, shit.
Well, like you could be in the middle of a firefight, and then someone joins your game. You lose all your entire AI squad, and then one person is.
But I
with
heard
you.
that's what makes it fun is the chaos of the
It's
multiplayer, not
yeah.
the AI bots who are pretty sufficient, right?
Yeah. The AI bots are
pretty
very,
good.
very sufficient, and it's exciting because anything can happen and everything goes wrong in that game. So you could be tactical, you could be stealthy, but it doesn't go right ever. And it's fun.
It's kind of weird to me in video games. There's like a fine line with your AI team, right? Where it's either they're worthless, they don't do shit, and they're not even worth being out there. Or in some games, they get like all the kills, and you're like, wait a fucking second! Like I
Basically, this
wanted
game-
to do something.
That in this game, they're pretty like well thought out AI.
That's
so
cool.
It's nice. It's actually not as frustrating, but it sucks when one person joins and then it's only two of you. Then it becomes like hell breaks loose. But it's fun though. Like
I remember when Tom Clancy games were like legitimately the best games that you could buy. Every time there was a Tom Clancy name attached to a new title, you were like, I got to check this out.
Rainbow Six.
Splinter Cell
Yeah.
was maybe one of my favorite games of
Well,
all
the
time.
Ghost Recon, I think, series kind of went down here when Call of Duty took over.
Yeah.
Kind of as the
Yeah.
primary modern shooter.
Call
And
of
then-
Duty
Well,
is
because of the frame rate on
Yeah.
it too, and it's quicker. You know.
Yeah, I loved the Splinter Cell games. I like the original Ghost Recon games, but ever since, I feel like every time they come out with a new one, it's just not living up to my expectations. But I think Call of Duty kind of just took over that scenery, and it's just kind of
And it kind of sucks that you don't have a PS4, Wyatt, because it'd be a blast, all of us playing together, and it would be extremely fun. But
It's one of those games I bet is really
It's
fun
really
if
fun
you've
when you
got
play with people.
A crew,
and like you can accidentally kill each other.
It
too,
seems like
which
that
is-
was the point of the game. If you bought that game without that intention or that capability, or you're not yearning to do that, I can't imagine that game was worth it unless you strive to be like, for example, you had random people join. Some people would be like, well, I only want to play with my friends, but I only got one other friend, so I'm not going to let random people join. I'm just going to play with the AI. I think then you're missing out on what.
Yeah. So like, I wouldn't say random people join me or anything like that, but my buddy, he joined me, Kurt. He joined me, and we were playing, and it's.
Shout out to Kurt.
Yeah, shout out to Kurt. Yeah, he was talking to me about, man, I want to be a part of this podcast sometime. I'm like, well, maybe, definitely. definitely.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
So Nick, our studio audience, just brought up GTA 5. Do you guys ever play that?
I used to have
online,
that game. I used to have that game online.
Did you do the online stuff?
Yeah, man, but it's.
In the store, I'm halfway.
Get this man a mic. Get this man a mic.
What are you
doing?
Get this man a mic. Oh, come on. What's it? Come on. What is it?
Huh?
You're halfway through the story?
Yeah, halfway through the store.
You play online at all?
That's what I usually play.
Okay, cool. So is online like? Do you have crews, or do you like play with like a certain amount of buddies every time you get on and play, or you don't? You just like play with randos, randoms and stuff. Cool.
Yeah.
Can't you do like bank heists? Or
You
something
can do a lot
or-
in GTA.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, but
It's fun.
Yeah.
You can basically do anything.
When you beat the game, you got to tell me what you did. There's a big
It
decision.
changes up. It changes up. Every time an update's change. Like,
Oh, well, the multiplayer. I'm talking about the story mode.
Yeah, I know.
There's a big decision at the end.
Oh, I gotta do that. I gotta finish that game. I never finished it.
I didn't play story. I just played online.
Yeah.
I never played story.
It's a great story. It's a great game.
Did you finish it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
But
I gotta
then
do
you,
that.
you
I gotta
like
do
beat
it.
the game, and then there's like still things you can do. But the main story that it was originally launched, yeah, I beat that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you playing these days, Wyatt?
So I'm kind of running out of Zelda to play.
Oh no! It's the best.
Yeah, I'm running
It's
out.
so good.
I've already beaten it. I only have 13 shrines left to do. 20 side quests, which I cannot.
You hold the fucking phone. You only have 13 shrines left.
I'm
You
really
did
impressed.
107 shrines. Holy shit!
Yeah, so I'm at this point. I'm like, well, when the less and less I have the ability to do, or the less and less I can do, I'm now having to make that decision. Like, am I going to start having to look up how to at least begin some of these things?
Like finding
Yeah,
the shrines.
because they're like, I'm probably not, because in that game you find most of your quests and most of your things by just exploring. Well, I've already explored everything pretty much, or at least the majority of it. So the last 2 to 5% that I haven't explored, I have no idea where to go. And so I found that there's a 5th fairy. Did you guys know that?
Oh no!
haven't even
I thought
found
there was
the
only
fourth.
4.
Yeah, there's 5 buddies. I just found 5 buddies. There's 1 buddy, but there's 5.
one buddy.
There's 5 fairies. I happen to come across one, but that happens so few and far between now that I've been playing. Normally, I would get on and I would find 10 new things in an hour to 2 hours. Now I play for 6 hours, 2 separate times. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing anything.
Did you find anything in that
Right
time?
now, all I'm doing is focusing on improving my armor, hoping that as I collect things to improve my armor, I run across.
More stories.
But
and
I'm not. Like, I'm running. I've visited every stable a second time, and there's no new side quests that I've found. I've gone to every village and just kind of circled around. No new thing. I'm running out.
How do you guys feel about video game guides?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I think they're okay, but I don't really.
You wanna
I think
spoil
it
it
takes
for
away
yourself,
from
yeah.
the fun.
I'll be
know?
honest
Yeah.
with you. I use them sometimes, and I have no shame in saying that. Here's my reason. Like every once in a while, I'll look up a strategy guide for beating something in Zelda. Not because I don't think we could beat it by ourselves or whatever. There's just so many video games competing for my time, and there's so many games that I want to play personally that if I find myself really struggling on a puzzle or really struggling on something, I'll just be like, all right, get me out of this because I'm not having fun anymore. It's all about having fun. Video games to me are about having fun.
Not
If I'm
grinding,
not
really.
having fun.
Yeah.
But
And
you're not
I'm
playing it wrong. You're
yeah,
not playing it
exactly.
wrong.
I'm just doing what I want to do to get past it and move on to the next thing. Now, buddy, I know you're a purist and you're dying
Well,
to say something.
No, I was gonna say in Zelda there are about a bazillion Koroks in the new game.
I'm not
so,
going to borrow even trying to.
Yeah,
look
I
up
mean
the-
for something like that,
I
you
wish I
have to
understood what
use
you
a
guys
guide,
are talking
otherwise
about.
You're kind of a psychopath, probably, if you spend that much time.
If you
finding
found
all of them.
900 things,
900.
yeah,
Yeah.
without- yeah.
And there is
You have
no.
too much time.
You don't get anything for collecting them all. Basically, it's just it's lame.
Yeah.
Collect all those.
So, buddy, how are you progressing in Legend of Zelda? And I'm sorry, by the way, if anyone's tired of us talking about Zelda, I apologize. I know that this is something Blev is raising his
I
hand.
don't even play it. I don't even
I
know
know.
what you guys are talking about.
I know. But honestly, it is maybe, and I mean this honestly, the best video game that I've ever played. I have to honestly say that. And if you aren't playing it, find a way to play it. If you can get a Wii U for cheap, or if you can get your hands on a Switch,
Borrow
oh
from
my
somebody who beat
god,
it.
it is fantastic. But
Borrow
buddy,
their Switch?
How far along are you in it? And we won't spend too much time on this, I promise. But just
Yeah, I got one dungeon left.
that's the same with us.
yeah, and then I can go for the end.
I think we're waiting to do that last dungeon because we're having so much fun exploring. We don't want the finality of doing
Yeah,
the last
yeah.
dungeon.
There's still whole areas of the map I haven't even gotten to yet.
Yeah.
So Wyatt, you're way leagues ahead of me.
So since I've gone ahead and I'm kind of running out of things to do in that game, I thought this game was going to last me a lot longer, and it has. It's just overplayed the game.
How many
really.
hours have you logged so far in the game?
The last time I checked before was 105 hours when I beat the game. Was 105 hours. I probably put an additional 20 to 30 hours since then.
Jeez.
So I'm running out.
How many hours a night before you like start running out of stuff?
What do you mean?
Like per day? Like per
what's
day?
your average like play session?
Oh, probably 2 hours.
Yeah,
2 to
so-
3
okay.
hours. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were like grinding.
Well,
like,
on a
super hardcore.
weekend, I probably put way more than 2
Yeah.
to 3 hours in that. You
So-
know? Well, before but since I've kind of running out of things, I didn't think I would have this dilemma. I'm looking for another game, and Mass Effect came out, but I'm on the fence. On the fence.
This is a
about
perfect
it.
segue. A Brogway, I'll call it. That is what I'm playing right now.
He
I am
owns
playing
the podcast. I guess he can make
Yeah.
that up.
It's called Brogway.
Brogway.
From now on, coin it, buddy. You got that down? That's gonna be a Brogway from now on.
Coined.
I'm making a note.
Can we get a
It's
can
up on the
we get a
whiteboard.
sound for it? A sound for Brogway?
Let me think on it.
Okay, cool.
So if
I'm
you
just gonna
say-
randomly ask you for the sound, and you got to be ready
If
to go.
you say
All right.
segue, do you get like slapped by Buddy or something?
Can I use Squonky?
you
again?
can squat. If you
Can I
don't,
use Squonky again? That's a one-time thing.
It's a special request.
All right, so I've been playing Mass Effect, and I'm a huge fan of the series in general. Like, I absolutely love it, and I understand if you guys have been hearing some of the criticisms about Mass Effect, like it doesn't quite live up, but it's still a great game. If it didn't have that title and it was a new IP and it was this game that I'm playing right now, everyone would be like, "Wow, this is a great newcomer to the scene." But it just has a lot to live up to.
Did you play the last one?
Yeah, and I liked 3. I know
Okay.
a lot of people didn't like 3. The ending
I haven't
was
played
sorta-
any of them, by the way. So
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. Everything you're hearing about the animations in that game and how everything looks really fucking weird when people are talking, it's all true. But you can get past it. Like it's not going to take you out of the game.
I've heard from like people saying that like I guess like the actual art itself is pretty like cheaply made.
I would agree.
compared
Like
to 3.
I don't think it looks that different than the old games in the series, which isn't a bad thing because I think those games are ahead of their time, and
Yeah.
I think this game's a little bit behind its time in terms of how graphically cool it can look. And I have a 4K TV and a PlayStation
Yeah.
Pro, and I was expecting a lot more out of what I got than what I got.
But see, I don't play that game for the action, and not necessarily graphics. I play it solely on the
Story?
and
World
the lore,
building, right?
And the world building.
Yeah.
I love that universe. I am annoyed that they go to a new universe or a new galaxy, and there's only 2 new races. Makes no sense to me.
That is true. Yeah.
That is
Only
two new races, and you go to a whole new galaxy. But so when people are like, well, I never really cared too much for the action in the first 3. I thought it was good. I thought it was okay, but I didn't care about it. I cared more about the story, the decisions, and the interactions between the races.
They doubled down on the action in this one
sure
for
did.
sure. It's so okay, and I'd love to show it to you. I'll show it to you guys later tonight. But like honestly, just like an action scene in that game is like it used to be a cover game. It used to be like Gears of War. You go, you find cover, you peek out, you shoot, you can ask. So this is the biggest offense that I think the game has made, and again, I really like this game. I want to like preface it with that, but I will say like the biggest offense this game has made so far is that it's taken away your ability to control your squad mates to say like, hey,
I heard
we're
that.
fighting this guy. I want you to use this power. I want you to use this power, and I want you to use this power. Like it doesn't do that anymore. It just says I want you to attack this guy, and they'll attack them with whatever you have in your arsenal. It used to be more tactical. It used to be more of a game of like strategy and like saying like how do we go and defeat this enemy. Like
So can you control I guess your AI?
no,
No?
you can tell them where to stand, and you can
And,
tell
like,
them
where to
who to
go?
attack.
Okay.
But you can't control how they stand or
How they attack? So for me, not really knowing Mass Effect
Mm-hmm.
at all, can you try to convince me in a way from dialogue to try to tell me why I should pick up the game, why I should play it?
So if you haven't played Mass Effect, you're going to love this game. That's what I would say.
Okay.
If you hadn't played a Mass Effect prior to this, then you will pick this up and you will be amazed by it. And you'll say, "Oh my god, this game's scope is fantastic. There is so much like dialogue choice, and you're getting to know and love these characters. The voice acting in this game is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. I don't know who. So you have a choice when you select your main character. You can make it male or female.
Okay.
And if I chose the male, but the voice, whoever the voice actor is that plays the male, sounds like Nolan North. If you guys know that name, he's the guy that does like Drake and Uncharted and a couple other things. And the voice acting is stellar, and you really fall in love with like all the characters that are in the game, and you really like get to know each character, and you get to know what motivates them, and it's really cool. But I would say like if you had never played a Mass Effect before, and this was the first thing you picked up, you'd be like, wow, there's great combat, there's great story, there's great world building, and this is awesome. But the problem is, if you had played the previous Mass Effect games, you'd pick this up and be like, wow, they took a step back with this. Like the animations aren't as crisp, or at the best thing you can say is that this game looks as good as Mass Effect 3, which was on the previous generation of consoles. So I understand all the criticisms that people are saying about it, but
Okay.
It's not necessarily, I don't know, warranted. It probably deserves like the scores it's getting, like an 8. It's an 8 game, and it came out in the middle of